Okay, let's talk about the year 2026. Because what's happening in tech right now, it's not just about another iPhone or a slightly smarter AI. We're on the verge of something way bigger. It's the beginning of what we're calling the intelligence age, a time when all these different, powerful technologies are finally starting to click together, creating a whole new world. And this quote from Zach Haas, who used to be a key player over at OpenAI, really hits the nail on the head. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of technology just taking over, but that's not the real story. The real story is about us, about the choices we're making and the future we decide to build with these tools. So, where does it all start? Well, the spark, you could even call it the brain of this whole new ecosystem, is the rise of a new kind of AI. An AI that doesn't just talk, it acts. Now, we've all played around with things like ChatGPT, right? That's generative AI. This is the next leap. It's called agentic AI. And the difference is huge. These agents don't just create text or images for you. They can actually understand a complex goal you give them, figure out a plan, and then go out and execute that plan across multiple apps and systems, all by themselves. And listen, this isn't some far-off futuristic concept. The adoption speed is just wild. Gartner is predicting that by the end of 2026, a whopping 40% of all enterprise applications are going to be running AI agents. To put that in perspective, that's up from less than 5% in 2025. We are talking about a massive exponential jump in a single year. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, imagine an AI agent that's constantly monitoring your company's supply chain. It sees a shortage coming, so it automatically reaches out to different suppliers, negotiates the best prices, and then just presents you with the solution. See, these aren't just tools anymore. They're basically becoming our digital coworkers. And that leads to a totally new kind of workplace. We're already seeing companies post jobs for things like AI agent team managers. The future of work isn't really about humans being replaced. It's about humans learning to manage and orchestrate these new hybrid teams of people, AI agents, and even robots. Okay, so if agentic AI is the brain, what's the body? Well, that's where all this digital intelligence starts to move into the physical world. We're talking about the rise of a brand new industrial workforce, humanoid robots. And you might be surprised to hear who's leading the charge here. It's the auto industry. And when you think about it, it makes perfect sense, right? They've got the deep pockets, they're experts at mass manufacturing, and they've spent years developing the tech for self-driving cars. Now they're just repurposing all that know-how for robotics. And believe me, the race is on. Hyundai is planning to put 30,000 of those incredible Atlas robots from Boston Dynamics to work this year. BMW's already got Figures robots pulling 10-hour shifts on their assembly lines. And then you have giants like Bosch partnering up to build the underlying software that's going to run this whole new robotic workforce. So, we've got the brain, we've got the body. But how do you get them to work together? You need a nervous system. And right now, a massive digital nervous system is being built that's going to connect everything from global networks all the way down to the human mind itself. Think about it. To have millions of AI agents and physical robots all working in sync, our current internet infrastructure just isn't going to cut it. We need something faster, smarter, and everywhere. A truly global, intelligent fabric of connectivity. And that fabric, it's being woven as we speak. You've got companies like Ericsson working with Intel and NVIDIA to build the foundations for 6G. Our smartphones are literally starting to connect directly to satellites, which means no more dead zones. And over in China, they're already testing 10G networks. We're building a world with no data borders. But of all these new connections, there's one that is by far the most profound, the most game-changing. And that's the one being built directly between technology and our own brains, the brain-computer interface, or BCI. And the speed of development here is just breathtaking. Just look at this timeline of what's happening in China. In less than 2 years, they've gone from local plans to a full-blown national strategy. And it all culminates in March of 2026, with the world's first clinical approval for a BCI device that helps paralysis patients. This stuff is happening way faster than any of us thought. So, we have the brain, the body, and the nervous system. This whole new technological organism is coming to life. But that brings up a massive, critical question. How on earth do we create the rules of the road to make sure it's all used for good? When you look around the world, you see we're splitting into two different camps. In the US, the philosophy is all about deregulation, moving fast, and letting the market figure it out. But then you look at the European Union, and they've gone the opposite way with their big AI Act.
It's a super careful, risk-based approach with strict rules on transparency and oversight. These are two totally different visions for the future.
And while governments are busy debating these big policies, companies are facing a crisis right now. It's being called shadow AI. Basically, employees are using all these powerful new AI tools way faster than their bosses can create rules for them. This is opening up huge risks for data privacy and company secrets. It's no wonder it's become the #1 headache for tech leaders in 2026.
Okay, so let's put all the pieces back together. We've got the acting AI, the robotic workforce, the super fast network connecting it all. So, what does it actually mean to be alive in the intelligence age?
Well, our entire relationship with technology is changing in a fundamental way. For our whole lives, we've been the ones doing the tasks. Now our role is shifting. We're becoming the orchestrators, the conductors of these incredibly complex, intelligent systems, both in the digital and the physical worlds. And that brings us to one last really important question. We are entering an age of, you could call it unmetered intelligence, where thinking power is basically everywhere and almost free. So, in a world where machines can think, what is the one human skill that becomes more precious than anything else? The answer to that, well, that's what's going to define our future.